Welcome, friends of Middle-earth, to our gathering by firelight and song. Today we delve into a chilling and ancient mystery, whispered on the Barrow Downs of Eriador. Was the Barrow-wight a fallen Maia from the First Age? Stay close, for the mist thickens, and we are about to uncover secrets so deep that even the wise dare only whisper them. In the elder days of Ada, before even the rising of the sun and moon, countless spirits were shaped by the thought of Eru Iluvatar, the One. Among these were the Ainur, mighty and beautiful, who descended into the world to weave its fate. Some of the lesser Ainur became known as the Maia, faithful servants to the Valar, but in those distant years of the First Age, many were seduced and corrupted by the Dark Lord Morgoth, who spread his malice across Middle-earth, as recorded in the Silmarillion. As early as in 1497 of the First Age, Morgoth's dominion over the wild lands bred dreadful things, spirits of fear and shadow that infested the earth like a sickness. Some scholars suggest that among these were corrupted Maia, cast adrift when Morgoth was overthrown at the end of the War of Wrath in 583 of the First Age. These spirits, rootless and wrathful, may have clung to the mortal world, yearning for form and vengeance. Could one such spirit have become the dread Barrow-wight who ensnared Frodo and his companions in 3018 of the Third Age? The Barrow-wights are described in The Lord of the Rings as malevolent beings who inhabited the burial mounds of the ancient Dunedain, creatures summoned or stirred by the Witch King of Angmar in 1409 of the Third Age, during his war against Arnor. Their appearance after so many silent centuries suggests a deep-rooted connection not to the Witch King alone, but perhaps to an older and more profound evil. Indeed, the malice that clung to the Downs seemed to predate Angmar's wars, hinting at a corruption ancient even by the reckoning of men. Tolkien himself wrote in his letters that the Barrow-wights are not spirits of the dead, but evil spirits out of Angmar. Yet he left their deeper origin shrouded, allowing room for interpretation. If we consider that Maia were spirits capable of both tremendous good and unspeakable evil, as seen with Sauron, once a Maia of Aule, then it becomes plausible to suggest that some lesser Maia, having fallen from grace, might have been enslaved by dark sorcery to inhabit these mounds of sorrow. The notion that the Barrow-wight was a fallen Maia gains strength when we consider Tolkien's descriptions of corrupted spirits elsewhere in the Legendarium. In Morgoth's Ring, it is revealed that Morgoth's corruption was not merely of flesh, but of spirit itself. His will seeped into the very substance of Ada, staining it so deeply that even after his expulsion into the Void in 583 of the First Age, his malice remained, festering in forgotten corners of the world. If lesser spirits had been ensnared during his dominion, their fate would have been grim indeed, bound to decay and death, like wraiths unable to find peace. In this light, the Barrow-wights might be seen not as independent, malevolent entities, but as thralls, enslaved remnants of Morgoth's cosmic rebellion. Unlike the Ringwraiths, who were once mortal kings subverted by Sauron, the Barrow-wights show no hint of prior humanity. Their existence is purely spectral, an abomination to both life and death. In this way, their nature mirrors the fate of corrupted Maia, beings trapped between the seen and unseen worlds, neither fully incarnate nor wholly dissipated. Furthermore, the chilling abilities of the Barrow-wight, the manipulation of cold, shadow, fear, and a dreadful sleep of death, echo the powers of the Maia who once served Vada or Mandos but who fell into darkness. Recall that even the Balrogs, terrible in form and flame, were originally Maia twisted by Melkor's hate. If fire could be corrupted into terror incarnate, could not also spirits of quiet and twilight become wights of shadow and despair? Even the specific rites the Barrow-wight attempts upon Frodo and his companions, laying them out with swords across their necks in preparation for some ancient sacrificial ritual, speak to a deep and malevolent knowledge of death. Such grim ceremonies do not arise from mindless evil, but from a fallen intelligence, a spirit still possessed of malice and cunning. It is consistent with Tolkien's portrayal of corrupted Maia as beings retaining some echo of their former potency, however much it has turned to horror. Thus, the theory that the Barrow-wight was a Maia fallen into decay after the First Age finds a firm foundation in the broader themes of Tolkien's mythology. The corruption of once pure spirits, the lingering poison of Morgoth's evil, and the tragedy of being sundered from their true purpose. In a world where even the bright spirits could be marred, the Barrow-wight stands as a sad and dreadful testament to that truth. Yet to fully understand the nature of the Barrow-wights, we must weigh them against other known spirits of corruption. Chief among these are the Nazgul, the Ringwraiths, and the Balrogs of Morgoth, whose fates shed valuable light upon what the Barrow-wights might once have been. The Nazgul, as Tolkien clearly states in The Lord of the Rings, were once mortal kings who succumbed to the power of the Nine Rings. Their wraith forms were not their origin but their doom. The Barrow-wights, however, show no trace of such a mortal past, suggesting that they were never men at all. Balrogs, as revealed in the Silmarillion, were once Maia of fire, corrupted by Melkor in the earliest days, long before the awakening of men in 3,000 of the Years of the Trees. They retain terrifying power even after their corruption. Similarly, if the Barrow-wight was a fallen Maia, we would expect it to maintain some vestige of supernatural ability. And indeed it does, weaving spells of sleep, paralyzing terror, and death. These abilities align far better with a corrupted spiritual being than with a mere ghost or the restless dead. Moreover, Tolkien indicates in the nature of Middle-earth that the Maia varied greatly in their intrinsic strength. Some were mighty, like Sauron or the Balrogs. Others were far humbler, spirits of the air, water, or forest. A Maia of lesser stature, not of fire or battle, but perhaps of dusk, the Twilight Lands, or the secret arts of burial and remembrance, might have been all too susceptible to Melkor's seduction. When cast adrift after Morgoth's fall, such a spirit could have clung desperately to Middle-earth, finding its way to ancient barrows and becoming the creature that Frodo encountered on the Downs. Another telling detail lies in the role of Tom Bombadil. In The Fellowship of the Ring, Tom effortlessly banishes the Barrow-wight with a command and a song, yet he warns the hobbits to flee quickly and not to linger. This shows that while Tom's mastery over that part of the world is absolute, the Barrow-wight was not easily destroyed, only banished for a time. If the Barrow-wight had been a mere restless spirit of a fallen man, it might have been exorcised altogether. But if it were a Maia, a spirit of great resilience, it would endure still, hiding in the cracks of the world, waiting for another chance to ensnare the unwary. Thus, through comparison with other corrupted beings of Arda, the theory grows stronger. The Barrow-wight is not simply a conjured horror or a wandering ghost, but very likely a relic of the elder days, a fallen Maia of sorrow and death, lingering long beyond the downfall of its dark master. If the Barrow-wight was indeed a fallen Maia, what then does its lingering presence mean for the greater story of Middle-earth? It reminds us that the world Tolkien built is one not of clean endings, but of long shadows. Evil is never wholly undone. It seeps into the stones and the soil, waiting with patient malice. The defeat of Morgoth in 583 of the First Age, though momentous, did not cleanse Arda of his corruption. It merely broke his dominion. His will remained woven into the world itself, a marring that no power short of Eru could wholly heal. The Barrow-wight's existence upon the Downs, preying on the tombs of ancient men, is thus a chilling testament to the permanence of evil in Tolkien's legendarium. It is a splinter of that primordial rebellion, a broken shard of a once glorious spirit, who now clings to death and decay. Its hatred is not personal, but universal, directed against all living things, all memory of the light. It represents despair given form, a corruption of the very idea of remembrance and honor that the Barrows were built to uphold. Interestingly, this fits the thematic tapestry Tolkien wove across his works. As he expressed in the Letters of Tolkien, evil in Middle-earth often seeks not simply to destroy, but to mock and defile. The Barrow-wight's desecration of the burial mounds, turning places of sacred rest into traps of terror, is a profound violation, one that mirrors the way Morgoth twisted elves into orcs or Valinorian light into the darkness of Angband. Every act of corruption in Tolkien's world is a bitter parody of something once beautiful. Moreover, the encounter with the Barrow-wight serves an essential narrative purpose in The Lord of the Rings. It is the Hobbits' first direct confrontation with supernatural evil beyond the Shire. It sets the tone for the creeping dread that will accompany them on their journey. Yet, unlike later foes, the Barrow-wight is defeated not by force of arms, but through courage, light, and song, symbols of hope against despair, of memory against oblivion. This resonates deeply with Tolkien's own belief, as he wrote that fairy stories are not about escaping from life, but about recovering it. Thus, even the Barrow-wight, an ancient lingering horror, serves a greater purpose within Tolkien's myth, reminding us that though the darkness lingers, it can be withstood by steadfast hearts, by songs remembered, and by lights born into the shadows. It is a battle that never ends, but also one that never ceases to be worth fighting. In pondering the true nature of the Barrow-wight, we see more than a mere ghost story. We glimpse the tragic echoes of a world broken long ago, in the black years when Morgoth first poisoned the song of creation. Whether by Tolkien's design or left intentionally vague, the possibility that the Barrow-wight was a fallen Maia enriches the tale, lending it the sorrowful grandeur of the elder days. It binds a single haunted barrow to the vast cosmic struggle that began in the timeless halls, when first the Ainur sang the music of the Ainur and discord was sown among their ranks. In the mists of the Downs, where ancient kings sleep uneasily and cold fingers creep over stone and bone, the Barrow-wight becomes a silent witness to the truth Tolkien never ceased to explore, that evil, once unleashed, clings with long fingers to the edges of the world, waiting for the unwary. Yet hope endures. A simple hobbit's courage, the memory of brighter days, and the singing of an old song are enough to scatter the shadow, if only for a time. Thus does even the humblest heart stand against the ruin of all things. It is fitting, perhaps, that Tolkien never fully revealed the Barrow-wight's origins. For in Middle-earth, as in our own world, some evils are too ancient and too vast to be fully named. Yet the courage to face them, to stand fast in the dark with only a trembling light, remains the truest victory. Whether fallen Maia or spirit of Angmar's sorcery, the Barrow-wight was overcome, not by power or might, but by memory, song, and faith. In this we hear again the oldest refrain of Tolkien's world, that even against despair, hope sings louder still. Thank you for joining me in this journey across ages and shadows. May your own road lead you always to places of light, and may the old songs never be forgotten. Until next we meet, Malanen. Namari.